So it's Monday, October 7th, 2013, and this is a recap from our Gay Men of Wisdom discussion group. We had it online tonight. And the topic was gay men as the integrated masculine feminine whole. So this was a quieter topic than our discussion than our first topic, where it was much more lively. This was a more introspective, deeper look into who we are and really the core issue that we have yet to grapple with, which is the feminine and how we integrate seamlessly more this blend of masculine feminine, being one of our gifts to the world that we give as gay men. So we talked about some of those ways that masculinity and femininity show up among gay men, and we started with the feminine. So we talked about some of the more stereotypical things, were such as lack of interest in sports. Certainly, many more gay men are less interested in sports than straight men, for instance. But we talked about more of the personality traits, which kind of taking this down to a deeper level, which was really the tenor of this entire conversation, was much deeper kind of discussion. We talked about the sensitivity that gay men have, our willingness to show feelings, to cooperate, to negotiate with other people, our ability to be healers and nurturers, the way we show up in the healing professions. We also talked about some more of the physical manifestations of being more effeminate, right? Some of our body gestures, our mannerisms, the way we dress, right? And again, this applies to many gay men, but not all gay men, and this might change over time for each of us, right? So there's no judgments on this. But one man talked about really understanding feminism, really knowing that struggle is so deeply and closely tied to our own freedom as gay men, and really looking at valuing vulnerability as a strength versus weakness, right? And this is one way that the feminine can really be fierce within us, right? When we value the vulnerability as a strength. So there's some other. We also looked at how does the masculine show up, because gay men have a lot of the masculine. We talked about act up and the anger and the rage and the going out and confronting and taking power. And of course, if you look at our community, we've really done a lot of that, right? We've taken risks, we've confronted, we've created change, we've had political change and political power. And so we also talked about how the masculine shows up in our attention to our physical bodies, how gay men tend to be much more tend to really attend to the masculine side of their physical presence. But what was really interesting was this whole notion of the fluidity of gender. Okay, and so I asked the men how the feminine and masculine show up in each of them. And really the bottom line that I heard from everyone is this question of authenticity. When they are really in their true feminine and in their true masculine, there's this seamless interplay between the two, that there's this balance that contains an energy that is fundamentally different, that people pick up on subconsciously. And it transmits permission to be authentic to others, right? So when we are our authentic masculine, feminine selves, this allows other people around us, without even realizing it consciously, to be more of themselves. And this was really a beautiful moment in this group tonight. And so I'm gonna end there, because we had so much that I could be going on for about 10 or 15 minutes. I've got 4 pages of notes from tonight's discussion of the masculine and feminine. But overall, let me just end with this quote from this idea from one of the men. There's this sense of returning to oneself when we fully express and allow ourselves to embody the masculine and feminine. For the men in this group, and I would imagine for many, many gay men, it's returning to our original state as boys, the children who we were before society told us that we couldn't be, that we couldn't be like that, that boys weren't like that. This reclaiming our original authentic state. And as one person ended the call with, he called it the recovery of joy. And what a powerful statement. The recovery of joy, recovering our connection between the masculine and the feminine. That's what I wish for every gay man. And I hope if you're watching this that you're inspired to consider, how does the feminine show up in you? How is it a source of strength? How does it enable you to express your unique gifts? And who are you when you step into that fully integrated masculine feminine whole? So thanks for joining me.